Hi there, Laura Wilson from Gold Star Work here. Today I wanted to show you how I finish the edges of my paintings. Now sometimes I'll paint the picture all the way around the painting, as you can see on this one, and sometimes I'll do just a black finish. Now doing the black finish can be tricky to get your lines straight, but I've come up with what I think is a good system for that, and I'm going to show you how to do it so you can get your lines nice and straight too. And the reason why sometimes I finish them in black is if I'm doing a technique like here where I've used the alcohol drops, can't really carry that technique round to the sides because it needs to dry flat, so I can't do the painting all the way around the sides for that kind of painting. So I'm going to show you how to do that black line. I'm going to show you how to do the black lines on this painting here. And on this painting I've done the glad wrap pattern, which also needs to dry flat, so I couldn't carry the pattern on round to the side, so that's why I'm going to paint this one black. And for this you'll need one sponge roller and a brush and some black acrylic paint. I just use a cheap black acrylic paint for the edges, so don't worry about using an artist quality for that. And you'll need some kind of surface that you can put the paint on that the roller will be able to roll flat on, because we're going to roll this out. So the first thing I do is with the brush I will paint the corners. So first off I'll use the brush and I'll just very carefully paint in the corners. So I'll go around and paint all four corners. The roller won't go round the corner and get all the paint in that little fold that you have at the corner of your canvas. So that's why I paint the corners with a brush first. I'm just making sure I cover all the white bits of canvas there. And you can see how careful you have to be with the brush to try and get all the bits. And if I try and paint all this edge with the brush, it's very hard to get a nice even coverage. It goes kind of lumpy, and it's also very hard to get that straight edge, which is why I'm going to use the roller to get the straight edge instead of trying to paint all this along here. Painting is going to change in the next scene, because when I filmed it the first time when I was doing the corners, I forgot to focus my camera, so the corners were all blurry, so I redid the corners on that one. So that's actually a different painting from the last painting. So you can see there that I've gone over a bit, and I can just wipe that off. Now the reason I can just wipe that off is because I've actually put a sealer coat on here first. So you can either do a coat of spray varnish, or if you're going to use a liquid varnish, I use a fast medium fixer, and I'll put a coat of that on before I do the black, so if I go over the edge at all, I can easily get it off without disturbing the paint underneath. So now we're ready to use the roller, so I'll just get the roller and I'll make sure the roller's got some paint all the way around it. And then you want a nice even spread on your roller. And then I'll put my painting along the edge of the table there. Make sure I haven't got any paint on my fingers. See, there I had some paint on my fingers. And I don't know if you can see that. I've ended up with a little black bit. I had a little bit of paint on my fingers, and I've got a little black smudge on there. So I'll show you how easy that is to get off if you've sealed your canvas. So I've just got a clean brush and I've put it in the water, and then I just rub it on and wipe the black paint off. So now that's gone, and I haven't disturbed any of the paint underneath because the canvas is sealed. So there's a good little tip for you in case you have that problem too. So this time I'm going to make sure my fingers don't have any paint on it before I put it on there. I'm going to place my canvas on the edge of the table there, and using my sponge roller with the paint on it, I'm just going to paint along the edge, and it will naturally make a nice straight line along the edge of the canvas. So you can see a nice even coverage. Now sometimes you have to do more than one coat, so once this is dry I'll just check and make sure that I haven't left any white bits showing through, but it's a lot quicker and I think gives a nicer result than trying to paint those edges with a paintbrush. The paint's running out a bit on my roller, so I can just grab a bit more paint. And sometimes these canvases are not always particularly straight looking at the bottoms, around the edges, and that's why it's so hard to do it with a brush. So I'll also show you a shot from this angle of doing the sponge rolling, so you can see how it works. You get a nice even line. Very, very easy. Now, I'll just leave that little bit there so you can see. Sometimes when it dries, you'll see little bits of canvas coming through, and you can just do another coat on it. You don't need to do the corners again if they're all covered. Just come back with the sponge roller and do another coat when it's dry. If you've been a bit stingy with the paint on the roller, that can happen. And it just gives it a lovely smooth finish. You don't get any paint marks on there, any brush strokes. It's just all nice and smooth. And the paint around the edges of this one is all dry. I'll be able to varnish that one with some varnish, and I'll carry the varnish on right round the edges, and that way this one's been varnished, and you can see the shine of the varnish on there, and you'll get the same look on the sides then if you use the same varnish on the front as you do on the sides. A nice even finish. So there's two ways to finish your paintings around the edges. You can either paint them as you paint the painting, because that way it will match up and be seamless and all the colours will match. Or if you don't want to do that, then here's how you paint around. You don't have to do it in black, you can do it in any colour you like. I just prefer to do mine in black. And it's also a good way to unify some paintings. So with my bird paintings, I've done all my bird paintings for this particular series of bird paintings with the black edges to help make them flow together and look like they belong together. So thanks for watching. Hope you found that tip helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. I wanted to let you know that I sell my paintings on my website, and I also sell on 3 print-on-demand sites, on Redbubble and Zazzle and Fine Art America. If you'd like to support what I'm doing, check out the links below in the description box, and I'll see you all next time. Keep well. Bye. Happy painting.